Big g'day and welcome to another edition of the RDFNL Netball Show. Looking back a little bit on last week and looking ahead to this week, my name's Yeendy, I'm joined by Tara Murray, and what an exciting round 3 action we saw of RDFNL Netball.
It was. I think last week's netball show, I didn't know who to tip in a few of these games, and there was quite a few close ones, even a draw, so it was a really good round in netball, and we're starting to see the sides sort of sort themselves out and know where they sort of fit.
Absolutely. The first game we'll take a look at is Macedon and Rupo. What was the Cats just getting up in a hard-fought contest against the Ruperswood side that are improving. So your thoughts on that particular game?
Look, for me, I thought it sort of played out how I expected. I thought Ruperts would be pretty competitive, but I thought the Cats would have a bit too much depth on the line. It sort of showed that the Cats were trailing at half-time, and they had the luxury of moving Amy Carroll from wing attack into goals in that second half, and that move seemed to make a difference. Not many sides have the luxury of moving a Ryan medalist from a position we haven't seen them play a lot of to a position we normally see them play. So that was, I think, in the end was different. I think Ruperts would be pretty happy. Speaking with Di McCormack the week before, she wanted to be competitive against Macedon, and they were certainly that.
Fantastic. A good win there by the Cats, but I guess more positive signs there for Ruperswood, who, as we've spoken about, did have an interrupted pre-season, but they got up and firing. Another game that I had the pleasure of getting down and watching a little bit of, Diggers Rest and Riddle. The Burrows just too strong there for the Bombers by 14 goals.
It is. The Burrows were obviously a side we didn't know a lot of heading into the season, and they've sort of shown all their new recruits are fitting in really, really well. You've got Kathy Dicker in goals, who has been brilliant early on. I think she was best on court and shot over 30 goals herself. The Bombers weren't at full strength. They were missing Lauren Close. So whether or not that was VNL commitments, I know that's sort of starting to come into effect not only in this comp but in a different few leagues with players on restrictions not being able to play full games. You've got that, but obviously, look, the Bombers were yet again competitive, but the Burrows, I'm impressed with them early on. Yeah,
certainly great work under Pam Strong. We expect them to come out firing, and they've delivered with a few big wins, statement-making wins. Centrals and Romsey played out the first draw of 2018.
It is. I actually spoke to Randy Pereira after this, and he was a little bit disappointed with this result. For the third successive week, they've had more shots at goals than their opposition, and they've only got one win. So he said they had their opportunity. They had 14 more scoring shots. You hit one or two of them, they get the win. But he said it was a cracker of a game, and Romsey's shown they're going to be competitive with every side they face. So Central's are building, probably a little bit disappointed with their start, but you've got Katie Hepburn, who is playing in goals, hasn't played for a couple of years, and I know as a shooter in netball, if I don't play for a couple of weeks, my shots are terrible, let alone not playing for a couple of years. So they're going to build as they get better, and if they reduce that if they increase their shooting accuracy, expect to see a few more wins from them soon.
Definitely right, and both teams sort of new look lineups in comparison to where they were last year. The Hawks and Rockbank have played out an absolute cracker. The Hawks getting their first win of 2018 by 5 goals over the much improved Rams outfit.
It is. There's a lot of confidence for the Hawks out of that one. I spoke to Wendy Roberts after the game, and she was ecstatic. I think these two sides last year were around the similar spot, but the Rockbank got over the line, and the Hawks, I think, were a little bit disappointed with that 12 months ago, thinking we should have won that game, and they came out and showed that they have improved this year. We saw the best game from Tara Burnup since stepping into Wood End colours, and they came from behind at 3/4 time and ran over the top of them. So it was a 5-goal win and a very confident boosting one. You've got a very, very young Wood End Heskett side, and they're all building together, so you've got a lot of promise with that side, and I think, a lot of encouraging signs.
A lot of encouraging signs there for the Rams as well, because they are showing significant improvement. The other big game, we had Wallen and Broadford. I don't know that the game lived up to the hype that it did with its round 1 encounter.
I think, look, from what if I'm correct, I think the score was 42-36, so obviously still a fairly close match. Wallen got over the line for a second straight time, but I think we're starting to see if Broadford don't have Amelia Brock, they are going to struggle. She makes a big difference to any team, but a team that's building, they are going to struggle a little bit. And she's another one who was probably affected by VNL commitments, with VNL kicking off on Sunday. So obviously got there, but Broadford was still competitive. You've got a 6-goal difference. They only lost by 1 in round 1, and you take out one player, so that's showing they've got a lot of depth across that squad. It isn't just Amelia Brock, but it does make a difference.
If she's in the side, the team lifts a lot. It stands a lot taller, and they shoot a lot more goals.
Exactly, and that's with any team. Any team missing their goal shooter, like if you take out Beck Caldwell from Riddle, that makes a difference. You take out Kathy Dicker from Diggers Rest, that makes a difference. So it's going to affect any team that loses their goal shooter, and we're sort of seeing that early on.
Run through the games we've got this weekend. Riddle and Melton Centrals.
This could be a cracker. This could be a cracker. Obviously, both sides are only 1 and 3, but both could have been competitive in all their matches and could have obviously had different results. You look at Diggers, if you look at Riddle, you've one end you've got Beck Caldwell, the other end you've got Lauren Close. They're two of the best players in the competition without anyone else. It's how their younger players stand up is the key for them. And then you've also got Melton Centrals. You've got Beck Moorabool, another gun goal shooter in this competition. And if they reduce their misses, I think it'll be a cracker.
Your tip?
Riddle? But not. I've got no convincing thoughts on that one. It could go either way.
I'll tip Centrals to get up and get all their hard work together to come up with a really good win there. Rockbank and Broadford, the Rams showing a bit more improvement this year, and including that really big win in round 1 over Centrals against Broadford side, who have yet to really sort of go on with a really big victory this year.
And I think Rockbank will come into this match disappointed with their loss against Wood End Heskett. That's one of those matches they would have put themselves down for a win, and they didn't. They weren't able to match it in that last quarter. So for Broadford, if they've got Amelia Brock, they'll make a big difference. That will give both sides a big shooter at each end. Rockbank has Rebecca Hicks, who doesn't miss many goals, and she's made a big difference to that side already. So it'd be an interesting one. I saw Rockbank round 1 and they were impressive, so I will tip them, but it sort of depends on who lines up for Broadford.
I'll tip Broadford to get up by a couple of goals and a really good close one there. I think they're due for a win, and they've worked really hard to get to that point. Romsey and Wood End Heskett, this could be another interesting contest.
Look, I think Romsey's got a bit more experience, and that could be the key for them in that lineup. They've got a lot of premiership players still in that side, and they're yet to field their full strength side as well. So I think that could be the key there, a little bit more experience for Romsey. Saying that, Wood End Heskett will take a lot of confidence in from their win last week. So you've got probably one of the more experienced sides against one of the up-and-coming sides.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one there. I think, Romsey probably by around the 10-goal margin. Rupert's Wood and Diggers Rest, this is an incredible contest.
We said in the footy that it was going to be a cracker of match, and I think this is the match of the round in the netball as well. You've got both of these sides are going to be up there. It'll be interesting to test how Diggers Rest goes against a Rupert's Wood side that has looked good so far. They've knocked off Romsey. They played Romsey and they played Macedon so far, two of their better sides. Obviously, they got a round 1 win against Wood End as well, but the last 2 weeks they've played 2 of the better sides, and they got a win, and they only just fell short against Macedon, so they are a very strong side. Diggers Rest, they're the one that's sort of surprising everyone. All their new players have fitted in really well, and I'm quite interested to get down and look at this one. Yeah,
for me, I think Diggers Rest will be the smoky this year, and they will not only win their first final this year, they'll make finals, but they will not only win their first final, but they might go all the way to the big dance. I think there's just a lot of improvement, a lot of self-belief within that playing group under Pam Strong.
And look, everything they've shown, I can't disagree at this point. I think they are a lot better team than what they are. They're probably a little bit more even across the board, a bit more strength in those areas. So yeah, I think Diggers Rest will get over the line this week.
And we finish up with another really, really good game. We've got Macedon and Wallen.
Look, I think the Cats have done what they've had to do the first few rounds. They have had some tough matches. Obviously, in round 1, they only just got over the line against Riddle in a hard-fought match, and they played Rupert's Wood last week, which was another hard-fought one. So, look, I think Macedon will get over the line, but I think it'll give us a good indication of where Wallen is sitting. They did lose by 1 goal to Riddle in round 2, and we saw that Macedon did get over the line against Riddle in round 1, and Macedon wasn't at full strength that day. So look, I think the Cats will be too good, but I think another indication of where Wallen sits in this competition.
Absolutely agree with you on all accounts there. Tara, thanks so much for joining us on this week's edition of the RDFNL Netball Show. We look forward to recapping what round 4 has to offer as we build up towards an interleague campaign that is only just weeks away.
It is. It'll be here before we know it, and hopefully we'll have the netball team in the next few weeks, and I think a lot of the players from the Team of the Year have put their hand up to play, so we'll bring you that when we get that as well.
Fantastic. We look forward to seeing you guys next week.